Hi, this is Laura from Iron and Pine, and I am here with
Guy. I'm the owner here at the Granary Estates.
I'm Beth, the Business and Operations Manager here at the Granary Estates.
So thanks for hosting us today, guys. So maybe you could take us back to right at the very beginning. What was the idea with adding accommodation? What were the starting points?
Well, we've always found that there's been a need for accommodation here other than the 2 cottages that we currently have, and we were losing out on a lot of bookings due to not having sufficient amounts of accommodation. So we started looking at the options, and our first set was looking at glamping pods, the round sort of glamping pods, and then we decided that we found that the market had been a bit overdone with that, and they were becoming quite common, and we wanted something slightly different, which led us down to looking at these converted containers that yourselves do, and that you were at the Farm Business Innovation Show, and that's where we first got to hear about you. And I took the journey up to stay in one of your converted lodges all the way up in Galway, and they actually had camping pods there as well, so I got first hand to look at the 2 against each other, and it was very quickly made up that the converted containers was definitely for us. And then I came on to see you and called in to see the planning team at Rural Solutions on the way back down, so, and it ticked the boxes for us all. That's where it started.
Yeah, that's great. So then it was passed over to you, Beth.
Yes, so one of the first big tasks when I started was to really get the accommodation project rolling. We knew that it was a must-do for us as a business. So that's when we connected and had our long distance phone calls to say, what is it we need? And at the beginning we were quite open. We knew we had planning permission for 10, we were going to start with 5, but we didn't know at that point, are we going to go for big ones, small ones, a combination? So those phone calls really helped to say, okay, what are the next steps and what are we bringing to the granary? All the way from the design elements to the layouts and everything in between, and then really got the ball rolling to what we've got today.
Yes.
Exciting.
So do you want to tell us what you did pick?
Yes, so in the end we went for 3 Curies, a Grantee and a Gransey, which is great because that's brought a lot more accommodation to the site in all different shapes and forms, really catering for a range of people, not just for the wedding market but the staycations generally, with lots of different finishing touches as well, which has been so fun to really get involved with. In fact, Guy's got involved with a lot of the finishing touches himself and really enjoyed it, I think.
Found a new skill.
Yes, and I'm very pleased that all the sewerage, the electrics, the water is in for all 10, so we haven't got to dig ground again. We've just got to put the ground screws in and they can be delivered.
So the Classic Z was the first one to arrive, which is your honeymoon suite.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what your favourite part of the Classic Z is and what your kind of thoughts were with putting that in first?
My favourite part, I would say, would be the bed, because of the distance. We changed it around from how you standardise send them out, and we swapped the kitchen, brought the kitchen forward, which would give us room for a bigger bed at the back, and then the bath at the front, I think, really finishes it off.
Yeah, that's really cool. What about yourself?
I think my favourite part, the bath is obviously gorgeous, love the bath. I think it works really gorgeous with the decking and everything outside, where the doors that open up and then facing the sunrise in the morning. Just the layout of how that works has worked really well, and we get couples commenting saying how beautiful it is. They can wake up to sunrise with the windows and everything.
Yeah,
really beautiful.
We were in there this morning and the sun hitting into the bath was like
stunning.
Yeah, fairy tale. Okay, great. So the Classic Z came first, and then next was the Grandee Tees and 3 Curies. So what was the idea between having this as a 2-bedroom option and then having multiple units for couples? What's the business plan?
Looking at our wedding clientele, we obviously have the cottages that are very much geared up for more of our brides and are getting ready, but there's not really anywhere for the grooms to stay on site, and a lot of our couples don't want to stay right next to each other, so we needed somewhere that could accommodate a groom's party, best men, groomsmen and the groom himself. So having a unit like this is really great because it means we've got 2 double beds and a sofa bed. The night before the wedding it works perfectly, and as well being able to host a family arrangement, so we quite often have parents with grandparents, things like having to look after elderly relatives, so it's a great format in here so that you can be together, a bit more space as well, so dining table as you can see, sofa bed, the full kitchen. It just works really well as a self-contained, almost like a weekend unit where someone can stay for a couple of days, and we have had people stay in here for periods of time, and almost move in here, I suppose. It's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, you could live in it.
Yeah.
And what about the couries? Is that mainly for wedding guests, for couples, or do you see that being rented out with wedding season?
Yes, I think that will, with Newmarket being so close and the sales and the lack of accommodation in Newmarket during the sales and the racing periods, I can see that they will be taken up quite quickly by people when they come and visit Newmarket for racing and other events. There isn't a huge amount of accommodation in the area, so I think that we will see increased bookings from that side of things.
Yeah, so what's the goal with regards to number of weddings booked, and how do you see that changing now that you have accommodation on site?
So we did a little look last year to say how much do we need the accommodation, and when we did our stats, it was about 33% roughly we were losing because of lack of accommodation on site, and we said that's clearly an issue we have to address.
Yeah.
It's fallen to about 6% now, which in the space of 12 months, and this project's only going to grow. It's fantastic. Then the main thing is to keep increasing our wedding bookings, and in an industry right now that's quite tough, and a lot of venues do say their bookings are falling. We've already about to exceed our bookings for this year, next year, and keep growing those up, which is super exciting. And I think while we've got dates available, we'll keep filling them, which is amazing for the business and where we really want to be. As a business model, it's fantastic. It's working really well.
Yeah, that's incredible. You're happy.
Yes.
You're happy. Your team are happy. So how many weddings can you do here in a week? And what does the summer months look like for you guys?
Busy. So we can do up to 4 weddings a week. So you think 200 weddings a year is kind of our capacity. But we also do corporate events as well. So Christmas parties, summer parties, wakes, anniversaries. We're already seeing when people are booking their venue now, they're going, well, we want to book all the accommodation on site, all the accommodation the night before, the night of. So really the dream is that they have almost wedding weekends, which are more and more popular, where they keep everyone on site with them. And really, if we can continue to grow by 20 extra weddings a year, I think that would be a dream, wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
20 more every year to get to that 200, you never know.
Yeah, no,
Great.
So it's not part of the package that they book all the accommodation, that's an option, but most of them take it up?
So I'd say yes, at the moment it's not. It's something we've actually discussed as having it as a rolled in package. We as a venue like to be quite flexible, so they can book it, they don't have to, but it's certainly something on the cards, as most couples are booking them at this point. Almost seems silly not to have it as part of the package, but on the cards, watch this space.
Yes.
And what's the feedback been from your customers so far?
Very positive. Yeah, people like them, enjoy it. They like the space, the quietness, and the surroundings. So everyone seems they seem very popular and happy.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of work on the grounds, like planting lots of trees and wildflower meadow, and there's a perfect view, even though you're going to have 10 units here, none of them feel overlooked, like you've spaced them out really well, that everyone's got their own view, don't feel like...
No, and it's been good, and it was quite a finger in the air when we were putting this ground screws in as to where they go, how they're going to look, but no, we're very pleased with how we've done it, and I was wanting to get it mapped out picture perfectly, but actually we sort of put some sticks in the ground, got some squares out, and it seemed to have worked really well, and they fitted in really well.
Yeah.
And I've even pleased my mother, who was quite worried about it. She's very pleased with how they look.
Yeah. So the aesthetic of them, obviously externally they're clad, do you feel like they fit in with the branding and Granary Estates, and what were your choices to make it feel, what was your choices to make your mum feel comfortable that you were putting shipping containers on her farm?
It was quite tricky, but we decided the cladding was a must, and they have fitted in quite well. Originally we wanted them in black, because you think, well, black, but actually you put black in a countryside black background and it sits in quite well. And when we had the classic Z, which is the honeymoon suite, which was the first one to turn up, that sat outside for 6 months on its own, it looked fairly sad with itself, and my mother was more and more worried about the rest coming, but once the others have come to join it, it looks a lot better, and it all fits in quite well, and now the trees and the plantings are in, and the hedges are growing. Although we've had the driest spring and summer on record, things are starting to come, and I'll be pleased to put my hosepipe away for the winter.
Weather great for weddings, not great for farming.
No. Or trying to make turn a building site into a luxury accommodation site.
It's not great for lawns. But no, the site looks really beautiful, and you can tell that it's thought out and catered for your guests. It is slightly away from the venue, but still really accessible for people to nip back, and it's like the perfect mix of both. Okay, so what does the future hold for Granary Estates with regards to accommodation and weddings, and what's the goals?
Well, as we seem to be seeing growth through having the 5 units that we've got and having planning permission and infrastructure in for another 5, I think we will slowly see an increase in units. I'm just waiting on the tap of the shoulder from Beth saying we need.
Absolutely, and I think we have, some more different types of units to look at, which we can't wait to have these conversations with you.
Yes.
We really want an accessible unit. That's very much on the cards. A family unit. So although this is great in here, we're thinking bunk beds for the kids, things like that. That's the requests we're hearing from the couple. So it's going to be fun to have a little play around again with the designs.
We're going to be throwing ideas at you.
Yeah.
And wait and see what you come back with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our customers always come up with the best ideas, to be quite honest. So the family rooms accessible, that's definitely something that we can provide, like wet room areas and things, so that it meets all of those requirements. So do you want to tell us a little bit about why you chose to work with Iron & Pine in the first place?
So I did a little bit of travelling around and looking into options and companies that make them, and having taken the journey up to Wigtown, where I wanted to stay in one, and chatting to Lorraine, who's also from a farming family like myself. We got on really well, had long chats, and she showed me all around and the finishes, and how she spoke how she got on well with you, and I had a good look round. I spent hours, well not hours, I spent a good hour that evening. I was the only person staying there that night. I was climbing on top, underneath, crawling around, having a look to see how they were finished, how they were done, and then meeting yourself and Alistair and Luke at your offices in the factory and having a look around. I felt like we had a bond. We sort of business ethoses were the same, and I got on quite well, and I thought, these are people we can go on a journey with.
That's great. No, and we definitely felt that with you, and I love that we've really collaborated on all of the units. Like, there's been a mix of your ideas and our experience, and making that come together to fit exactly what Granary Estates needs. I feel like that worked really well. From your side, Beth, how did you find working with us remotely, as we didn't meet during the process?
Yeah, I remember seeing you the first time, like, oh my goodness, I feel like I know you already. Absolutely. I mean, I had a couple of calls with different companies, and for me, you got it straight away. And I remember sitting there for the first time, this video call. Hi, I'm Laura. Hi, I'm Beth. What's the vision? And you really got it straight away. And with all the design specification, we did make a lot of tweaks, especially with our very first unit, the Grand Z, the Honeymoon Lodge. And you really understood we didn't want to compromise on, the quality, but we also, we all have set budgets to work to, but at the same time, everything was finished to a high standard. We were really impressed with the service we got, and even coming down to the delivery day, everything was just seamless and smooth. And for us, that took a lot of stress off, especially because we're constantly going in weddings. We didn't necessarily have the time to take years to do this. We know we needed it quickly, but to a high standard. And you guys fit us in tight schedules, and it was really, really helpful. So we really appreciate working with you guys and all your flexibility.
Thank you so much. Do you want to tell us a bit about organising the groundworks? And obviously you were kind of in charge of that side of it, Guy.
Yeah, so I took on the project management of the groundworks that I thought would be quite easy, just putting a few pipes and sewages in the ground. But no, it was quite intense, and this is the furthest unit, so we were 2.5 to 3 metres down in the ground at one point with the sewerage, trying to get the full right, but it seems to be good, and we've got all the services in, all seems to be working well. I was quite picky about, I wanted a proper shower. I always judge a place by its shower. If you go and have a bad shower, that's a bad place for me. So we have got a pressurised water system in that gives us a nice powerful shower, which is good. And that took a bit of planning and doing, but it all seems to be working well. And I'm pleased now that we've got the infrastructure in for the next 5, so which will be a big relief. And when the classic, the Grand T, the Grand T, when the Grand T landed, I was 2 inches out on the water connection, which I thought was pretty good. I was very pleased with that. So that was a good time when it all landed and everything married up.
Yeah. And your foundations are ground screws, so do you want to tell us a little bit about working with them and how that...
Yes, so we worked with no more digging. who I think you recommended, and they were great. And it's very simple. They just come with I give them the drawings. They come and work it out, and the screws are screwed in, and away you go, and the container sits on top of it, and it's very easy and straightforward, and very little mess.
Yeah, and it marries more with our ethos as well about being a bit more environmentally friendly. We weren't a big fan of big concrete pads in the middle of the field, so actually it worked really well for us, and it was really no hassle, was it? Very easy.
Yes.
So could you tell me a little bit about why modular construction was a good fit for your business?
Because there was very little disruption. Now that all the infrastructure is underground and buried, we could add it on, and you could have a container delivered one day, and you could almost be living in it the next day.
Yeah.
So it's very easy, straightforward, and very little disruption to the business now. So we haven't got to worry when we add more to it. We haven't got to worry about disruptions times, because it could be in and out in a couple of days.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And from a booking point of view, how quickly were you renting them out from when they landed, and do you think that the next ones will be a quicker turnaround now that you've got a feel for what you're doing?
Yes, so I suppose Beth wasn't with me when we first started the Granary Estates, but we started the Granary Estates with no planning permission and 15 bookings, and we had planning permission and 20 bookings and no builders, and we managed to get it turned around in time. So I'm always quite happy to know that we will get there, and yes, we're pushing it sometimes, but we will advertise more and sell more before they actually arrive, knowing that we know what we know now, and it'll be quite straightforward.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, we spent the first one landed in autumn last year. We launched our booking system in December, and we were selling them off floor plans. We were like, this is what it looks like, work with us, it's a shipping container, but it will look amazing. And we were getting bookings from last December rolling in very quickly, up until they went live in May, June this year, which is just amazing for us. And it's getting more and more when people come and view the venue now, they always want to come and see, what are those things, can we see them? Yeah. And it's an exciting part of the journey for our couples to be able to come and see where they're staying, where their family's staying. So working very well.